Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am your man Anthony Smith, and I'm sitting here with my guy.
Yo, P in the building.
And this is Chop It Up, where you get your weekly dose. But we've been doing twofers, one first, every other weekers. We in here, you know what I mean? We just having fun with it right now, and everybody's locked in the house, quarantining, family and all. So we just trying to do our part to do the best with the quarantining and get you guys some of this good knowledge we got. P, what we getting into today?
Man, we're gonna get into shooting a film, man.
Shooting movies, dog. Straight movies. P just shot a whole goddamn movie. How long did it take to export?
It took like 4.5 hours to export.
Yeah, y'all normally used to, getting it hot for the Instagram, little quick minute, maybe two, you know what I mean? Quick little exports. Once you get the movies,
Whole different story, man.
Don't fuck up, because you don't want to have to re-export nothing. Don't misspell. You need to double, triple check everything before you hit that export.
The number one thing that I would say to do, and I was able to. We shot for 4 days straight. It was like 16-hour days. You just got to have a plan going in, because when you go to collect your footage, it like the amount of the project, it was a little over 2 terabytes of footage, and that's only because it was planned out. If you were just free shooting, just trying to just get whatever, man, that easily could have been like a 6 terabyte project. Easy. And trying to dig through that amount of footage, man, it'd drive you crazy. I was able to, because of the planning on the front half, I was able to turn around that project in 2 weeks.
You want to have all your stuff in order when you're doing any project, but most definitely when you're doing larger projects. If you're doing smaller stuff, it's better to just start getting in that groove anyways. So when somebody does throw a larger project, not saying you shooting a feature film, but whatever that larger project may be, maybe you're only used to doing little promo videos for local businesses, and then somebody asks you to do a wedding or a quinceañera or something that's going to be a whole day event, and you're not set up to do that. You don't know how to do that. Not saying that you don't have the equipment, you don't have the knowledge. It's just not something that you're used to doing. So it's better to keep the same process no matter how big the project, and then that way when you come across these larger projects, the process doesn't stay the same. It's just more footage, more everything to deal with, you know what I mean? But have a plan, like P said. Don't go in there and just think you're just gonna be able to get what's there, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many times that you go to these events and things are supposed to go one way and they go another way, and you just got to be prepared to be ready to move when shit changes up, when a light goes out, when you're missing this, when this doesn't happen, when somebody's running late but they still want to get the shot, but you're supposed to be 2 places at once. You got to figure all of those things out, because they're going to happen.
And that's exactly what did happen. I ran into, Ant helped me for one of the days, but the rest of the days I was running around, by myself. Actually, 2 of the days, sorry. We got thrown a loop from the jump. We showed up for practice, and it was like
practice.
They were like,
practice. Well, y'all finna get in here and shoot.
Right. They was like, well, you're gonna film this too, right? And luckily, I had brought the camera bag, and
we were ready to go. You know what I mean?
Like, we got straight to work. Didn't really even fumble over that part, but it was unexpected. We thought we were going to be just looking at the outline of what the main event was going to be, and it turned into like
something
go time
else, you know what I mean? Like, once it's go time, it's go time. And a lot of times at these bigger events and venues, there's multiple people in charge,
and that's
everybody feels like they're that person, you know what I mean? So with you knowing what you need to get, you can't just be getting tugged and pulled in every direction from everybody that says, "Hey, cameraman, come here. Hey, dog, could you get this picture? Hey, dog, could you get that?" You no, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
you don't want to be a dick about it, you know what I mean? But you got to understand, and they have to understand that you have a job to do. And if you got a few extra minutes, then for sure get the shot. You know what I mean? Even if it's something that you know that you're not gonna use, that could be a potential gig later on. You know what I mean? Like whoever that person was that was in charge may have a daughter that's getting married next year, and guess what? You just helped her out, so she's like, "Hey, you got a card?" You know what I mean? And it works that way. So don't be an asshole if you don't have to.
Right, but at the same time, do not be scared to say no.
Hold your ground.
You have to comfortably just be like, "Nah, I can't do that."
Yeah.
And you don't always have to give an explanation. You just got to be like, "Nah, I'm over here. I got to do this over here." You know, like you. At the end of the day, you got hired to do a job. Make sure you do your job, you know, and make sure you stay focused and you capture what you need to. Now, outside of, you know, before the gig even started, I had stuff already mapped out. So I was bringing Ant in to help me out, made his life super easy because he had straight direction.
Second shooting, I love it. Sign me up all day.
Right. Did not need to think at all other than like, this is what P asked me to do. This is all I'm doing.
Boom, pow.
All I need you to do. Like, don't do nothing else. Like, I don't know how many times, and you know that's why it's really important to network out here because, you know, there was other people that I would have loved to bring in to get the experience, but the magnitude of this project, I couldn't take that chance, and I knew without a doubt that this is the direction that I needed Ant to do, and boom, he nailed everything. And I don't know how many times you bring second shooters in, third shooters in, and they just start, well, let me try to do that.
You can't go with your vision when you're when you're hired on as a second. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you have a little bit of extra time to do something creative, go for it. You know what I mean? But don't steer clear of what the person's vision was that you're there shooting for because they have a purpose. In their head, it's already cut a certain way. So if they need you to only get wide, but you see something and you like, "Oh man, this would look dope if it was tight." Come on now. That's not your job. Because odds are he's already has somebody that's tight shooting in that direction, or he's already shooting tight in that direction. So now you lost the master, which was the wide, and now you got two tight shots because you felt like you were the only person who saw that shot. You know, you gotta play your part. You know what I mean? Don't let your ego, don't let none of that get in, you know, none of that.
It's not about that at all, man. It's, you know, when you're coming in and you're second shooting for somebody, you're trying to make sure you're doing your part to fill in the gaps that they need you to on their project.
Yes.
Like it's not. Now, if you're hired as a team, that's different.
Something completely different.
Then you guys can, you know, you battle back and forth for that. But if you're just coming in and just helping somebody, just follow directions. And that's it. You know,
if you're gonna do anything or ask anything, try anything, do it in rehearsal. If there is a rehearsal, you know what I mean? Like, okay, well, I saw this. What do you think about this? You know, I was over here and I saw this from this angle, and then get the okay. You know what I mean? Like, you're a hired gun at that point. So do what you're supposed to do. Don't leave your complete input out. Like, throw your input because there's going to be times that you have great knowledge that maybe they have so much going on in their head that they didn't even see that. And you could just bring that to the table. You know what I mean? So don't just not do anything, but at the end of the day, do your job, B.
Right. Communicate. You know, so doing the treatment before the event already started, it was kind of like, now let's just execute.
Yeah. It was already mapped out in your head.
I already knew how I wanted things to flow. I knew the vibe that I wanted. I knew what kind of music I was going to use. So that made it like 1,000 times easier. Now it wasn't easy because it was crazy.
There was a lot going on every day.
That event was crazy, and I haven't shot that long for that many days consistently. I'm telling you that Sunday, day 4, I felt like I got hit by a truck. I woke up that morning like, bruh.
That's normally me after a one-day shoot.
Forearms were tight. You know, my hands were cramping from holding the camera, and mind you, we were running around with 2 cameras. I took the I would say the more
Army Man P in there.
right.
The dirty work.
Right. I was in there, you know, I was the gunner. So I didn't have no tripod. Everything that was coming out of me was I had to get in there and get dirty and get in angles and, you know, try to stay out the shots. And I didn't, you know, and that's one thing that, you know, when you're bringing somebody in for help, don't give them the shitty part of the job. Like they're there to help you. And if you make help too hard, they ain't gonna want to help you again.
Yeah, I ain't
you
coming
know,
back, dog.
it is your job to make that job as easy as possible for that second shooter. And you know, and on top of that, make sure they're getting paid. For me, I gave Ant exactly what I got paid.
Yeah.
And that's to me, that's the fairest way to do it. And that's how I approach folks when they bring me in as a second shooter. Well, how much are you going to charge me to second shoot? Well, shit, how much are you getting paid?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
For real.
so just split it. Just multiply it by as many hours as you need me, and then just pay me out. That's fair to me. That's fair.
Right.
That's as fair as it gets. Like, don't come in here and try to pay me $20 an hour when you're over there making your you know 75 to 150 an hour. Nah.
You brought me
You
in
know?
for a reason. You know what I mean? You didn't bring me in as a like a student. You know what I mean? I'm not a student. Like you trust and you believe in what my capabilities are behind this camera. So you got to pay for that. You know what I mean?
And to me, it's like if you're already making that money and you're doing a good job, like you should show people how it feels to get paid a legit amount.
Yeah.
And to me, that kind of puts the pressure on as well. Like you're not just a student at that point. Like everything that you are putting out counts.
Everything.
So you got to feel that pressure, you know. Yeah, and that's, you know. But I mean, me and Ant been doing this for a long time, so I know there was no pressure there. And you know, we've never been about like, oh, they had the money.
No,
like,
no.
We've taken L's for each other, and you know, it's. But at the same time, like we take the W's with each other as well, and that's how it should be. Like that, you know, that's how you build a good relationship, a good working relationship.
Yeah.
They say you can't do business with friends. Shit, me and Ant been doing business for over 10 years.
Big business.
So it's
getting it in.
It's all just about communication and making sure that, you know, that you're organized yourself. So if you're taking on a huge project, like I said, number one, organize yourself. Number two, man, check your gear. Cause there was stuff that me and Ant had to bounce back and forth. We run and gun. Like I don't have an external recorder, and there was a spot where we went into the room where the venue said that they were gonna have it, and
didn't have it.
They didn't have it. We were and it was such an important part to the piece to give out. I actually took every audio that I took was from that piece.
Ooh.
And if Ant wouldn't have had his recorder, man, it would have been hard. We would have had to stick a camera on just one angle and not move, and then just catch audio
that way,
the scratch audio. But that would have took a whole angle out of the equation,
out of commission
on how we wanted to you know, get it done. Me and Ant have created a really good, I would say, like a
move like ninjas in there.
Right. It's almost like we're playing like hot potato. Like we'll move and then the other one will move. We'll move and then the other one, and you'll feel like we had 15 different camera angles in there, but we just know at what points where the key in, what not the key in. There's, you know, you start getting into stuff. Once you start getting seasoned, you just know that certain angles don't make sense. So why sit there and shoot that? That's just wasting footage. So that's another thing that I would get into after you're checking your gear, making sure that your bags are all the way packed. You know, me and Ant always keep our bags all the way stuffed. And it's for situations like we ran into there where we needed to pick up audio. I pack light when it makes sense, but when it's a big gig, everything's coming.
Bring it out the kitchen sink. And then the other thing, man, you guys gotta have a location where you guys are going to be able to put all your gear, because you got to think there was over 1,000 plus people that were, moving in and out. And you hate to say that somebody would go through and steal your gear, but what we do now is more common than what it was 10 years ago. And you never know who is an inspiring photographer, videographer, you know what I mean? And it could be as quick as looking down and seeing a lens on the ground. You know what I mean? And somebody swoop, and there went $1,200. You know what I mean? Glass is not cheap. There goes a camera body, and these camera bodies and the cameras are getting smaller and smaller. So for somebody just to tuck it away real quick is nothing. Not to say that that's ever going to happen, but you always have to think worst case scenario. You always want to look at where you're going to put your gear, make sure it's safe, make sure it's out in the open, so you can kind of see, like, if I look over to the left and I don't see me or P, but I see somebody else over there when I know nobody else should be over there, then that's a sign for me to get over there because somebody's tampering with our gear. You know what I mean?
Right. And, for me, that's why I carry the big bag that I do. And every time I walk away from it, I make sure it's strapped all the way up. For one, that bag is heavy. So if you're going to try to run off with it, I'm going to see you.
Yeah.
For two, if you're over there fiddling around, it's gonna take you enough time. You got
there's so many zippers on that damn thing.
You got a latch that you got to undo. You got 3 zippers, and then you got to know exactly where everything's at in there to even get through that. And that's the reason why I have not got away from that big bag on big gigs, just in case for stuff like that. The next point that I would say in filming something that's gonna be really long is make sure you allot time to edit. Like, I already knew, like, okay, we shot X amount of hours. I know I'm going to need X amount of hours.
Microwave society people want this stuff damn near next day. It don't matter if you've been shooting for 4 days. They want it ASAP. You know what I mean? They feel like you were over there shooting, and for you to go home and edit is simple. You know what I mean? They have no idea what you have to do. So if that's not explained at the beginning, when you're sitting there discussing price, discussing everything else that's going to happen at this gig, you have to allow them, because a lot of times they don't deal with videographers and photographers. This is their first or second time, you know what I mean? And maybe the first time was a really good experience, or it could have been a really bad experience. So you got to talk to these people and make sure that you get that point across. I need X amount of time, and give yourself a little bit more time, because shit happens. You know what I mean?
Right. I was, it was a cool situation. They were pretty laxed with like, they didn't even expect for me to get done as fast as I did. They had me projected like 2 months out. And we've talked around my turnaround time. I hate sitting on projects, but I knew this project was coming. So there was nothing on my queue going into this project, and there was nothing scheduled after for that reason. Like, I wanted to make sure that I could put my full attention on it. And it was straight. Like, there was some nights, like, I would start editing at like 11 and look down, like, damn, the sun's coming up. Like, but, it was a very detailed piece, and, it was very important, and I wanted to make sure that I had that as well.
So Pete, give them top 2 or 3 things that you would have done differently for doing the gig that you just did. If you could go back and do it all over again, 2 or 3 things that stand out. If you even got 2 or 3 things.
Man, I would have made sure we had more memory cards.
Yeah,
because we had a super dope angle that was set up on the 7200 on the Canon EOS R that was in the back, that was overlooking like where everything was going on, but there was a main part that we had to get, but that Canon shoots so large that we drained. Like,
the files are huge.
Oh my God.
And we were shooting 1080. It wasn't even 4K files. That was 1080, and it was eating up 128 gig cards like this. 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. And you get somebody who loves to talk, you know what I mean? 30 minutes goes by like this, So more memory.
More memory. I wish I would have started getting footage from the client earlier.
Prior to. So when you say getting footage from the client prior to, you're talking about like what would it be? Older pictures and stuff that they had like before this event, showing the growth of them and where they came to before this point. So if it was
Right.
a wedding or a quinceañera, the couple beforehand, before they were getting married, when they met, like all of them little Disneyland pictures and all of that, getting that stuff beforehand.
Well, I guess I would have gave like better instruction on how I needed it. They gave it to me and they got it to me, but you know they don't do our jobs, so they figured since all I asked was for the picture that they could take a picture of the picture, and I'm like, damn, like,
oh no.
So there was there you know, it still came out super solid, but to really like give it a more authentic feel, if I would have had the physical copies of the
photos
of
themselves,
the photos, and you know, maybe would have dug in and got some of their old footage from back in the day, so I could have threw that in. I wish I would have did that, because I could have impacted it like a lot more. But you know, the good part about that is I could still go back and get that, and just chop over the finished piece and still
insert those the way that you really wanted to.
Right. The third thing that I would say is, man, if I had to say 3, I would say I wish I would have had a duplicate of a lens. I wish I would have like either asked somebody for it, or
same focal length for certain shots.
Because I was taking, you know, during the ceremony, I was taking pictures and video at the same time, and where I was at, all I had was the 85. So it was either it's in frame or it's not, especially when I got close, which it worked out in some spots, but there was just some parts that I just wish I
so it was a little too tight.
So it was kind of like getting my own inventory up. I'm not one that really likes to rent stuff. I'd rather just have it.
Own it.
Because if I'm going to rent it, then I'm probably going to use it again.
Yeah.
So
I haven't rented anything that I didn't purchase right after.
Right. So I wish I would have had another 18 to 35, and I've been saying that for forever, because
yours has been run through the ringer. You need to call Sigma and be like, I'm the king of this 18 to 35. Like, it's a lot of boys out there with it, but everybody playing with it. You know what I mean?
Dude,
like,
the rubber on the ring is coming off.
You can't. His 18 is gone. It's like a 1 and a O. It looked like 10 to 30.
Yeah,
like, hold on.
Yeah, if you don't like, if you picture the lens and you look at it, like, you can't see the numbers 18 to 35 on it no more. I use that lens a lot.
We call that maxed out.
Right.
But it's still working. You know what I mean? It's a beast of a lens. It's still trucking. A lot of people talk about these L series lenses, and you got to buy the same series of the camera body that you have. Sigma is killing the game with this art series lenses, man. Killing the game.
Right, Nate. You know, I'm very thankful. One of the things on why I don't have my own 70 to 200 is that price tag, man. Like, every time that I am in a position, it's always time to get something that's around that price, and I've survived so long without it. Even though I know I can use it to its full capabilities, I've just been able to create what I need to without it. Sigma dropped one that's affordable now,
half the price, baby.
So I'm definitely looking, and you know, it's hard, man, and it's extremely hard, especially
gear drops all the time, weekly, monthly. It makes it hard on you. You know what I mean? And when you're out here and you're doing your own thing and you're running and gunning, you gotta get the pieces that make sense when they make sense, because there's always going to be a one. Like, I literally feel like I got everything, and then I open up and here goes some new shit
all the time. And you know, and then, you know, trying to get all of these accessories for the Reds, like, that's a whole nother. So it's like,
I
now
spend $1,000 on a little grip, little. I mean, it's more than a grip, but it's a grip, dog.
Right, the 1,000 on a grip, and then it's like, you know, it's 400 for the batteries, and you need more than one battery. Like, you got 2 to 3 batteries, so that's and then your screen is 1,700, and then so it's every time. Like I said, like, the Reds we couldn't pass up, so we jumped straight into it. But it definitely knocks some stuff back. So it's kind of like now I'm just juggling around on trying to. It's like one side of the glass is filling up. And
what do I do?
Like now the other side is coming.
Go this way.
So it's you know, it's
a battle. It's going to continue to be a battle as long as we film make. Because P came in here talking today. Hey, did you see that new gimbal for the Airy though?
Oh man.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's so funny because we're so much on the same page that we both saw this video today. You know what I mean? Like, that's how aligned that we are. And we're sitting here talking about this thing, and I'm like, I didn't even want to Google it. Like, I don't even want to Google to see, because something like that, you know what I mean? Like, that's
already know
15,000.
Right,
you know what I mean? Like, this thing is crazy.
But and that's, one thing is,
you
like,
gotta have goals.
We don't have investors, so this is all us. Everything that we film, to what we edit on, to everything, like we figure out, and we sometimes Ant got it, sometimes I got it, and either way it don't matter.
We both got it.
We both got it.
Make it happen.
We're gonna make it happen. But yeah, man, like what I would say, man, if you guys want to do that, I have a personal goal. After I went to the film festival, I 100% want to enter in a short. I learned a lot, and I'm glad that I had that week experience out there, because that, chopping it up with these directors that are like making big time movies, they gave me free game. Like, they gave me free game, and I was able to pass the free game without even having to like say anything to Ant as we were shooting. And that's what it's supposed to be. Like, you're supposed to go through your experiences, and it's supposed to melt off into your crew, and you guys should all be elevating the same.
Got to do it.
But I got to get a film in there, man. Like, I want to be on that big screen. I have a goal. Like, next year I'm going to enter in something. Hopefully, it makes a cut, and I can get in. And if not, I'm going to keep motivated, and I'm going to get in next year.
Gotta keep pushing no matter what.
And that's, for me, that's, when the Reds came into play, like, it was a no-brainer. Like, and it fell into place right at that time. Like, I had just got back, and the Reds were there. And I'm like,
yeah.
And shit.
And as stupid as it is, you guys, it's still a tool. You know what I mean? Like, you can talk to a director that's doing big shit, and you say, oh, I'm filming on an EOS R, and they're going to look at you like, oh, okay, so how's your YouTube channel going? Then you hit them with, I got a Red. It don't matter if you're still shooting the same exact stuff. Once you hit them with that, you get a whole different level of respect. And that was one of the things that you automatically get by getting these cameras. You know what I mean? It puts you in a different table.
Right, and it's kind of like playing, like, you can play poker and the regular stuff, but when you're playing poker somewhere else,
yeah,
it's just, you're going to be doing your thing at a bigger level.
Period.
You know what I mean? And that's just what, bottom line, man, just make sure you guys are out there just getting it, get to it.
My thing is have fun. You know what I mean? Shoot, and have fun.
Make sure it's fun. Because I didn't stress. I wasn't stressed knowing that I was making a movie. Just because, as soon as you start putting too much pressure on yourself like that, man, it starts feeling like work.
Now, how was it, real quick, because not real quick, but how was it seeing their faces when they were watching the film and watching everything? Like, since this was something that you put so much time, effort, you sat there and watched it 100 times over, loved it the way that it was, to see their facial expressions when they watched it for the first time.
That took away the price tag. It
one of them priceless moments.
It wiped it away, man. Just, I captured somebody's lifetime achievement.
Their grandkids are going to see this film that you put together for their great grandpa. You know what I mean? It's gonna be around
for him to catch them off guard. Like, oh man, you caught that too?
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't know you did that. Like that to me is the stuff that you can't put a price tag on. That's
what we do it for, you guys. Gotta get them smiles, man. It's just like you just get giddy. Like, I almost get nervous when I hit send and tell a client, like, your project's in the email, you know what I mean? Or your project's on the way. And then you're sitting there and you're waiting for the response. And then you get it. And it's just like, every single time it's like just good reviews. Oh, it's dope. I love it. And then it just reassures you, because 30 seconds ago, like, I was just super unsure of myself, waiting for this text message to come through. And now I got it, and I'm like, I knew I killed that shit. Yeah, feel me? You better quit messing with your boy. Guy. We getting it in here. But to be there with them, watching the film, and see those facial expressions, like, that could almost been another, like, BTS movie in itself. You know what I mean? Like,
if I was going to do anything different, I wish that I would have brought somebody else in to catch behind the scenes for us.
Yes. We got to do that, P. We got to do it. There's so many people that are out there, like our boy Rafa that's always listening. He came out to the dog show, but there's always somebody that's willing to learn out there. And if you guys are listening, you guys are local, and you guys are just down to come shoot some BTS, hit us up, man, because I don't care how big or small. I'm just going to be just reaching out to people like, hey, you guys want to come shoot some BTS? You know what I mean? And the best part about doing that is the pressure isn't really there. You know what I mean? Like, you're learning as you're going, but you're taking on a gig from somebody that's of higher stature of yourself, or even if they're the same, you know what I mean? It's still practice, just getting behind the lens and just getting in different scenarios. But man, like BTS, that's how I got into the game. Like, I started doing BTS for my brother, and my BTS got so good that one day he was just like, hey, I ain't got time to go over here. You want to go? And I was like, for real? Like, you think I got it? Like, you know, and it was just from going and just following and seeing what somebody else is doing and mimicking those things, but then twisting them into your own things. You know what I mean? Because you're going to see, I could go out and I could see P and the way that he has his GH5 set up, for instance, right? I also have a GH5, but it's set up a little bit different because we like to do different things different ways, and it may work faster for him this way, but for me it's better this way. You know what I mean? And that's just one of the examples that I can give you guys right now off the top of my head. But get the knowledge, you know what I mean? And if it comes in BTS stature before you can get out there and really start shooting and doing your own thing, then take it. You know what I mean? Like, don't charge, just get out there, grab that camera bag and just grind it out.
Till this day, I will go do BTS for free.
Man, come on! Like,
till this day, I will go, because that is, you can't pay to get that experience.
You can't. Like,
I will till this day just ride out with folks.
There's so many times that we've taken people to events that they wouldn't even had access to without coming to do BTS or being a part of our camera crew. No matter if they were just holding a light, if they were just doing whatever the situation may be, they would have never had that opportunity. You know what I mean? And the opportunities are much bigger than the price tag. You know what I mean? I could shoot you a couple $100 and not introduce you to nobody. You could not learn nothing, grab your footage, and you're gone. You know what I mean? Or you can build this relationship. You're sitting here asking me questions back and forth all day. I'm answering the questions, giving you advice. Hey, check this angle. Hey, this is my boy P. He does this, this, and this. You know what I mean? It's about networking, and that's what you want to try and build. So you can, your P says something along the lines of your net worth is I'm messing it up. But
your network is your net worth.
There it go right there. I'm going to tear it up every time. I'm going to tear it up every time. But it makes so much sense, because when you're down, when you're out, I can always pick up the phone and, P, I need to borrow this. P, could I do this? Or P, come over here and help me shoot this. You know what I mean? Or call my brother. Or call, you know what I mean? Like 3-4 other people that we can just pick up the phone and call, and they're going to come at a drop of a dime, because we do the same thing for them as well, you know?
That's what it's about, man. I know this was a little bit longer episode than normal,
because today I got time.
This dude over here.
Hey, oh, sorry.
Appreciate you guys chiming in, man.
Yeah, I'm your man Anthony Smith.
Yo, P in the building,
and this is y'all better get out there and meet some people.
You.
Hey, I could not remember how.
I thought this one went longer than